One of the bad endings in this game. This woman was no ordinary villain. In a world that had fallen into despair, she wanted to destroy everything. The mid-level boss in this world. The woman gathered her strength in her fingertips as she said, "This kind of world." That woman had the nickname of the Witch of Doom. She said, "There's no need." And the mid-level boss was Hanel. Hanel said, "I will destroy them all." Then she immediately used her power to destroy the place. The scenario where we all failed to kill her. All the creatures in the world were destined to vanish. And the system said, "Game over. Will you try again?" And that was the bad ending. Now on a sunny, normal spring day. The 5th grade of elementary school begins its first semester. The children in the class are very excited to start their new class. The children say, "It's great that we can be in the same class again this year." "Where do you live?" "Do you want to go home together later? Before we go home, do you want to play at the internet cafe first?" And the teacher said, "Everyone, please sit back in your seats." The teacher also brought a girl next to her. She said, "You have a new friend who just arrived. Please introduce yourself." Our MC said, "This normal daily life is about to collapse." She has very faint blue hair. The girl began to introduce herself. She said, "Hello, nice to meet you." Our MC said, "Oh, round rabbit tail, and also the long rabbit ears that stand on top of its head." The girl said, "My name is Hanel." Our MC said, on that day after seeing our new classmate, Hanel said, "My hobbies are reading and listening to music. I also like watching dramas." Our MC was surprised after hearing Hanel's hobbies. She said, "I remember my past life. However, there is no reason for me to drown in nostalgia, because this person in front of me is someone who previously had a more mature voice." Hanel shyly said, "I hope we can all be good friends." Our MC also recalled the incident where Hanel was trying to destroy the world. He said, "The Witch of Doom who brought about the end of the world. She's the mid-level boss, Hanel." Hanel said, "Please help." Our MC became frightened and she said, "I'm so sure it's her. I want to deny it, but I can't." "No way. We're finished." Bravehearts is the game which I like playing the most in my previous life. It tells the story of a boy who dreams of becoming the greatest hunter. The disciple who has a fighting spirit, Kang Hanbiol. It's a school and action RPG game with this character as the protagonist. This game takes place 200 years after the Great Disaster. There are monsters and hunters in a world that has advanced science and magic. In order for the protagonist to become a hunter, he enters Jumgang Academy in a Ductional town and faces various scenarios. At this point, the game looks like it's about the life of a schoolboy. But the original story is not that happy. This game has 44 types of endings. Most of them are bad endings. And that's because most of them are endings about the destruction of the world. This game also has one more big problem. This game has a character who is very meek and cowardly, a swordsman who will never show his full abilities. So useless and annoying, he runs every time there's a fight. An innocent child who doesn't even know how to hate others. Even when bullied, he's a troublesome crybaby who never even wants to stand up for himself. The bully character in the protagonist's team. And that character is me, the rabbit of the divine sword arts Dukenwu. Why is it that when I reincarnate, I became this super annoying character instead? And that's not all. I'm even in the same class as this dangerous character. No matter how hard I try, isn't this beyond me? I'm finished. This is the end for me. His friend was confused to see Dukenwu. He said, "What are you doing?" Then the teacher said, "Next, Dukenwu." Dukenwu was surprised to be called by his teacher, and while holding back his tears, he glanced at Hanel. Then he said in his heart, "Hanel, this girl, who will be the Witch of Doom in the game, is a character who looks like she is bearing the misery of this entire world." As soon as she was born, she was thrown away by her parents. He became the subject of people's ridicule, and she was considered a bully, never getting even a little affection from others. She lived a lonely and tiring life. All this happened because of the Manhwa disaster. Born with mutated DNA, she is an Ain. I heard that the existence of an Ain does not have the same DNA as its parents. But abandoning her because of that is still too much. Because of that, I understand why she became a Witch of Doom. But still, I can't just sit back and let the destruction of this world happen. The easiest solution is to kill her before she becomes a Witch of Doom. But I don't want to do that. Is there any other way? Then Du Kunwu thought of a way to save the world. His teachers said, "You too, Kunwu, go to the seat next to the friend you want, and sit down immediately if they want to." Du Kunwu said in his heart, "This is it. I have to change the way he thinks." In the game, due to the miserable circumstances and environment, he hates the world. But if now is the time when the story of the game has not yet begun, my actions might change the future. Among the villains in this game, Hanel is the one who has the power to destroy the world. In that case, then Du Kunwu went over to Hanel and he said hi. Hanel immediately looked at him. Du Kunwu said in his heart, "I will help Hanel so that she won't become pessimistic about this world." Then he said to Hanel, "Can I sit next to you?" And she said, "If this works and gets her on my side." Hanel was surprised by that. She said, "Huh? Me?" Du Kunwu said in his heart, "I can strengthen my strength. There are 5 years left before the storyline of the game begins. So before starting to enter the academy, I will befriend Hanel. After leading her to the right path, I can turn a catastrophe into a boon." Then Du Kunwu immediately pulled out the chair next to Hanel, and he immediately sat there while smiling. He said, "From now on we will be partners. Please do me a favor. My name is Du Kunwu. Let's be friends." Du Kunwu said, "And that's how. The way I became the middle-level boss's childhood friend." Then Hanel shyly replied, "Oh, okay." Du Kunwu said, in order to change the Witch of Doom, Hanel, who hates this world. But Du Kunwu continued to stare at Hanel, and he said, "How can I get close to her?" Hanel shyly said, "Can you stop looking at me?" Du Kunwu immediately said, "Oh, sorry." Then he said in his heart, "I was staring at her for too long, wasn't I?" And Du Kunwu looked back at Hanel, who was walking away from the room. Du Kunwu said, "I can't think too much like this and just invite her to play at my house." Then Du Kunwu noticed Hanel's tail and said, Is that a real tail or not?" While he was looking at her tail, Hanel suddenly shouted, "Hey!" Du Kunwu was immediately surprised, and he said, "Oh, why?" "What's wrong, Hanel?" Hanel said, Why do you want to sit next to me?" Du Kunwu said in his heart, "Oh, I think I better answer like this." Then he answered, "Of course, because I want to be friends with you." After hearing such an answer, Hanel was silent for a moment. Then, suddenly her face turned red, and she immediately said, "With me? Why?" Du Kunwu also said, "Why? Well, like I said before, I want to be friends with you, so what else?" Du Kunwu said in his heart. Her ears went straight up. Hanel shyly said, "That's weird. Why would you want to be friends with someone like me? Even though you are the son of a famous swordsman family." Du Kunwu felt sorry for Hanel, who suddenly became sad. Then Du Kunwu said, "Mongsho, you are so cute, like my pet rabbit Mongsho. I really like rabbits, and you look like them." After hearing such words, Hanel immediately stayed silent while holding back her irritation. Then with a red face, she immediately shouted, "I am not a rabbit." Then she immediately ran away from the room. Du Kunwu also said in his heart, "Wow, I made him angry, huh?" Then he said, "Hanel, I'm sorry." Hanel immediately stopped her steps, and she shyly said, "Then, see you tomorrow." Then Hanel immediately ran back. Du Kunwu said, "She just ran away. That's good. Looks like she's not mad at me." Du Kunwu started to leave his school, and he walked back to his house. While walking, Du Kunwu said in his heart, "But I still can't believe it, that I am now in a game world. If this world is a game, why can't I see my status screen? Even though I'm not a player right now, I'll try." Then he went to a quieter place and shouted, "Status screen." And the status screen appeared above him. Du Kunwu said, "Oh, here it is. Should I make it closer?" Du Kunwu was surprised after seeing his status. He said, "Huh. Du Kunwu's ability is pretty good, right?" And it was written that Du Kunwu has talent. Alias, dodging instinct, rabbit. Physical ability, 37, muscles. 34, endurance. 32, agility. 43, mana. 30, luck. 25. Remaining points, 0. Du Kunwu said, "Wait, this is really good. So why am I still being bullied with such good abilities? It's a good start with a good life. It's not even comparable to my previous life. If I also lived like this before." And after a while, Du Kunwu arrived at his house. He entered the house and he said, "I'm home." His mother immediately welcomed him. She said, "Oh, you're home? How was school? Everything okay?" Duke Kunwu was silent for a moment after he saw his mother. Then he immediately went to hug his mother. His mother said, "Oh my, what's wrong with you?" Duke Kunwu said in his heart, "I'm no longer living in my old life, nor should I think that I'm living in the game. I must live fully as Duke Kunwu." Then Duke Kunwu looked at his mother and said, "It's okay. I just feel grateful that I still have Mom." His mother said, If there's a problem, you have to tell Mom, okay? Then, wash your hands. I'll give you a snack before going to the sword training academy." Duke Kunwu said, "Okay." Then, he immediately went running upstairs. Duke Kunwu said, "I have to do something while I'm Duke Kunwu. The thing I really need right now is Beast King style. It's a sword technique that symbolizes a prestigious swordsman family like us. Like the lion who rules over all beasts. This technique focuses on the tip of the sword. And this is the sword technique that will make Duke Kunwu the greatest swordsman." Then Duke Kunwu went over to his pet, a male rabbit named Mongshil. Duke Kunwu said, "Mongshil, Hyum is here." Duke Kunwu continued to look at the rabbit, and he immediately picked up the rabbit and said he really looks like him. "I need to master Beast King style soon." Then Duke Kunwu went to the sword training academy. There he said, "There are still very few people. I think I'm hurrying." The sword training academy operates in various cities. And people from outside the family don't learn Beast King style, just ordinary swordsmanship. That's why so many people come to the academy. Then Duke Kunwu saw that the students suddenly glanced at the person who had just arrived. Duke Kunwu said, Why does everyone? Oh, it's him. Du Xian. And the person everyone was glancing at was a girl named Du Xian. Duke Kunwu said, "The sword goddess of the Du family, Du Xian. She is 2 years older than me. He is the most promising prodigy among the children of the current Du family sword god. In the game, he is a student of Jumping Academy. And he immediately became the strongest swordsman after graduating, and became a strong partner to Duke Kunwu. But why is he here? Well, it's not like he can't come here anyway, because this is the Du family's training ground. We will see each other very often. Let's focus on practicing Beast King style now." Then Duke Kunwu took out his bamboo sword, and he said, "Okay, let's start." Duke Kunwu tried to focus his mind, and he immediately took out his Beast King style. He did the first move of Beast King style. Then he continued his moves until the 9th move. Duke Kunwu said, "Will this amaze Du Xian?" And with a smile, Duke Kunwu said, "But how come this feels so good? It feels good when you sweat like this." Then came the boys who looked like they wanted to annoy him. The boys said, "Who's that?" "With that, what's wrong with him?" Wow, so now the rabbit wants to practice too. And the boys looked like 3 twin brothers. The first one named Wu Jundong. He said, Is it really the rabbit?" The second named Wu Endong. He said, "Why is he here so early?" And the third named Wu Dongdong. He said, "Can he really use that for a real fight? I bet he can't even catch one rabbit." Duke Kunwu also said the identical triplets. They are the extra characters called Cerberus in this game. And also, they are the children who bullied me. They do that because of the influence of my brother Du Sungwoo. The boy said, "Hey, why don't you answer?" Duke Kunwu looked at the 3 boys feeling so upset. He said in his heart, "I'm so upset. This is the first time I can't focus." The boy said, "I asked you earlier, why didn't you answer?" Duke Kunwu said in his heart, "Of course, they're not the only reason why I can't focus. There's another reason why I feel so angry right now. Why did I let them bully me? I remember everything that happened to Duke Kunwu in his previous life. Why can't I fight back against their insults?" He also recalled the incident where Duke Kunwu was bullied before. He was trampled by the 3 boys. The boys said, "The head of the Du family must be very ashamed of you. You're a disgrace to the Du family. I feel sorry for your parents." Hey, are you crying? Are you really crying? Duke Kunwu said, "Right, it's because I don't like hurting people." But now I know. The boy continued to insult Duke Kunwu. They said, "How stupid. What's the point of just swinging like that? Or do you want us to be your sparring partners?" His twin brother said, "That's right, we'll help you. How about it?" Duke Kunwu said in his heart, "This human body is not weak at all." So? And with confidence, Duke Kunwu said, "Okay, let's do it. Let's spar lightly like a real game."